How's it going, guys? Welcome back, finally, to the Canucks Land podcast. After missing 2 weeks, I am back, and we are ready to go in a new chair. It is so comfy. We got a new chair. Oh, I can lean back in it. It's awesome. I can lean back in my chair. I like it. And we got a Kleenex box, so cut. And I'm back. I don't know why I say cut. I'm talking to myself. Today we're going to be going over the front office for the Vancouver Canucks and what I think they should do. The topics are who's there right now, what can happen, and my thoughts. So we're just going to go over who's there right now. I'm sure you all know, but I'll give a refresher. Like we need one. What can happen? I'll try to go over as many possibilities as I can, but I think there's only maybe 3 or maybe 4. I'll remember, and then I'll say what I think the Vancouver Canucks should do. So I said I was going to do off-season plans. I'm not going to touch anything when it comes to drafting. I'm not going to do anything when it comes to trades, anything when it comes to signings. I'm going to do a different podcast. I'm going to split this up. I'm going to start with the front office because it is a hot button topic at the moment. So let's get into it with who's there right now. Right now, your president of hockey operations is Jim Rutherford. Your general manager is Patrick Allvin. Your head coach in Vancouver is Adam Foote. In the AHL, you got Ryan Johnston, who is the GM of Abbotsford. He's also an assistant GM in Vancouver. And you've got Manny Malhotra as the head coach in Abbotsford. Those are your main 5 figures when it comes to within the organization. In terms of outside the organization, I could go find and make a guesstimate to see who they could possibly bring in, but I feel like this is all going to be handled internally, and the only time they're going to go outside the organization is a potential hire in Abbotsford to replace Ryan Johnson or to replace Manny Malhotra. So those are the people who are there right now. We'll get into now what can happen. The 2 easy ones are everyone stays, Rutherford stays, Allvin stays, Foote stays, and those 2 stay at the bottom. The other one is everyone goes except for the 2 in Abbotsford. So Jim Rutherford's gone, Patrick Allvin's gone, Adam Foote's gone, and then the 2 stay in Abbotsford. The other thing that can happen is the 2 in Abbotsford get poached and everyone stays. That's another one. That's a deviation of everyone stays but they get poached. That can happen. The other thing that can happen is a promotion from GM to vice president or whatever role above a GM could be. I'm assuming it's going to be vice president if he does get promoted. And then Ryan Johnson moves up, and then you got the flip of like Adam Foote stays, Manny stays, and then the flip of you fire Adam Foote and Manny goes up. So those are like what can happen. What are we hearing? You know what? We're going to add a topic. I forgot. I knew I was going to put, I was like, oh, I know a topic I need to put there. There's an extra one. And then I was like, oh, it slipped my mind. And then it came back. So yes. What are we hearing? So we know who's there right now, and we know what can happen. And we're 3 minutes into this podcast, and I do apologize. It is going to be a bit of a quick one. It is kind of an easy topic, but when we go over what we're hearing, there is a good amount. And then we'll get into my thoughts down in the bottom. So what we're hearing at the moment. We've heard multiple things when it comes to Patrick Allvin. That's where I'll start. Patrick Allvin, we heard from Nick Kypreos that he's been telling people within the league, other teams, that he doesn't think he's going to be staying till next season with the Vancouver Canucks. And some other reports came out, I think it was Darren Dreger, who came out and said that that's not true. I think he expects to stay. So we heard conflicting reports when it comes to Patrick Allvin. Now, there's 3 ways that can go with Patrick Allvin, and we're hearing kind of all 3. Potentially he's out, or potentially he's moving up as a VP role, or he's going to stay as the GM. I don't think Vancouver's made up their mind yet, which I don't think they should have made up their mind yet. We'll get into my thoughts on what I think they should do, but that's what we're hearing in terms of him. Jim Rutherford, he has a year left on his contract. We're hearing that he's a guy who kind of wants to stay. If he's going to go into this rebuild, he's going to bring this team into the rebuild. He wants to do as much as he can in that rebuild. He's getting up there in age. There's the potential of retirement. We don't know when that will happen. And the other thing, I don't think we're hearing anything about there, but there is some speculation. You know what? Maybe if one of them goes, all of them goes. That's just something to think about. Next up is Adam Foote. The thing we're hearing is that they don't know what to do. It's inconclusive what they think they're going to do with Adam Foote at the moment. Then there's 2 things. We already went with what can happen. He's fired or he stays. That's about it with Adam Foote. Ryan Johnston. Johnson. There's no T. Ryan Johnson. The thing that we've been hearing is that Nashville asked the Vancouver Canucks. Let me scroll here because I know it's pretty close. In my little news thing here, because I just want to get this right. The Nashville Predators were denied permission to talk to Ryan Johnson about their opening in GM. So, the Vancouver Canucks possibly want to keep Ryan Johnson in Vancouver. You wouldn't think it would be to just keep him in the role he is, right? It's very, very... I think it's frowned upon in the league to deny a team to talk to a guy like Ryan Johnson if you don't have plans for him, especially if it's a promotion, So the possibilities are there. What we're hearing is potentially he could become the GM of the Vancouver Canucks. I don't think he moves up into a vice president role. I think that if anyone moves up there, it's Patrick Allvin. So with Ryan Johnson right now, what we're hearing is the potential of moving up to a GM is kind of sprinkled into the fact that they denied Nashville permission to talk. It kind of makes sense that way. Manny Malhotra is the last one. What we're hearing, really nothing when it comes to Manny Malhotra, because a lot of the talk when it comes to him is Adam Foote. If they let go of Adam Foote, it's kind of a shoo-in. And I know it's not technically 100%, but it kind of is a shoo-in that it's Manny moving up, because you don't want to bring in another coach and then just to be like, oh, here's Manny again. If you're getting rid of Adam Foote, you're going with Manny and you're sticking with Manny. Because especially with how much movement we've had the last few years, that's why I'm so hesitant about making moves and stuff like that. I understand the camp that's like, we shouldn't fire Adam Foote. Look how many coaches we've gone through. How does that look to us? Like, for us, like, how do players look at that? Oh, a coach can't stay. I just feel like it was the wrong hire from the start. So it's kind of like if we get rid of just Adam Foote, and that's the only turnaround we get, and a potential raise, you know what I mean, and stuff like that, that's, I feel like, fine, because I feel like it was the wrong hire, but I don't want to get into my thoughts. I mean, we can move into my thoughts. That's the next thing we're moving into, is my thoughts. I apologize. It is a bit of a short episode of this Canucks Night podcast. My thoughts, what can happen. So, in terms of what I am thinking, I was at the stage some point a little while, like, I've gone through a lot of different ways that I've thought about this. My original thing was Adam Foote needed to go, Manny Malhotra needed a promotion to the NHL head coach job, and Allvin and Rutherford need to stay, because not only do I think they haven't caused they're not the majority of the reason why this team is bad. I think that they've done a decent enough job. I think they've made some mistakes, but I don't think they've done a bad job. I think that they can carry us through this rebuild, and it's just like I think they can. And then it changed to if one goes, they all have to go. If Foote goes, Allvin and Rutherford have to go. If Allvin goes, Foote and Rutherford have to go. If Rutherford goes, the other two have to go. That was a bit for me where I was just like, you know what? If you're going to get rid of one, you have to clean the slate. You have to. I understand what I'm going to get into now, which is what I actually think. This was a switch to now get rid of all of them. So that was my thought process for a little bit. And then I'll obviously bring up Manny Malhotra, and then it would be bringing up Ryan Johnson and Manny Malhotra at the same time when we got rid of all of them. Now my thinking is this. With the thought of moving Patrick Allvin into a vice president role and Ryan Johnson moving into the GM role, I like it. The reason I like it. So what I think will happen. Jim Rutherford stays. Patrick Allvin stays. Ryan Johnson gets promoted for GM and Patrick Allvin gets promoted to vice president. Manny Malhotra moves up to the NHL head coach job and Adam Foote gets fired. The reasoning for me on this is Patrick Allvin has done a lot right now this season scouting. If you're going to get rid of him, if you're going to do the swap for Ryan Johnson, I would wait till after the draft. But if you're thinking of keeping him and you're like not too sure, you're like, you know what, I really like what he did with scouting for this season, what can he do? Move him into a vice president role and have him do the same thing. Because if you do that, then you keep all the scouting you've done this season. He's done a lot. He was out scouting Ivar Stenberg, I'm sure a lot of players, but the main one I heard about was Ivar Stenberg, Kale Malhotra. Apparently they're really high on Chase Reed, so he was probably out there. The contributions he has done this season to scouting needs to stay within the organization for at least the draft. Jim Rutherford, It feels like he's going to be staying for at least one more season, and he might get a contract extension. I'm not sure what the plan is entirely with Jim Rutherford. I say see out this one season and see what you think, really. See out this 1 year with him, and then do you think that he could push through the rebuild? Do you think not? I don't know. We will see what happens. If he stays, I'm not upset, but I'm not happy. I'm kind of just in the middle. If he leaves, the curiosity in me spikes because the person who gets brought in could potentially just clean the slate again. You know what I mean? So that's what I think. So we got the top two guys. Ryan Johnson needs to be promoted to GM. Look what he did in Abbotsford. Not only were the players within the Vancouver Canucks organization built up in a way to where they could help Abbotsford in the playoffs. Look at the signings he made. Nate Smith was a Vancouver signing, but I really like his play in Abbotsford. Sammy Blais was a Vancouver PTO turned Abbotsford signing. Jujhar Khaira was a great trade in that season. He made the right moves. And I just listed 3 players where I think that Nate Smith he might have a little bit of a say, right? Because Nate Smith played the entirety of the season in the AHL. Sammy Blais, he decided to bring Sammy Blais in on an AHL deal. Jujhar Khaira was a good trade, and that was one of the best lines that playoffs for the Abbotsford Canucks when they won the Calder Cup. He's able to make the smart moves to plug holes to build the roster. Now, I understand we're going through a rebuild, not really what we need, but he might be able to find the good players to come in on 1 year, 2 year deals, a little bit more money, but we can retain and get rid of them. And they know what they're getting into. They know the possibility of them leaving, the opportunity that brings them going to a winning team, but they also come in and they build the culture and they help redefine the culture and they help build the young players up. I feel like Ryan Johnston might be better than the other two. I feel like they've done a really good job at doing low-level pro scouting, but when it comes to their high-level pro scouting and signing big contracts, it hasn't really worked out. I feel like Ryan Johnston might be a little bit better, but yet again, that's just my personal opinion. He could be worse. I don't know. I really hope he's better. I hope he does. I hope he is. But yeah, I think Ryan Johnston should be promoted to GM. Now, Adam Foote. I understand the coach turnover thing and not wanting to get rid of Adam Foote, but I feel like it's just you have to part ways with him. I feel like you should have part ways with him when we got eliminated, brought Manny in. But brought Manny in, even then, Abbotsford's not making a run, so it doesn't hurt anything, right? You get to start a little bit with Manny, get the players used to him in the NHL, and then next season he gets to implement everything. But yet again, it's fine if Foote stays till the end of the season, and then you let him go. That's definitely what's going to happen. We have 5 games left. It's definitely what's going to happen. So yeah, that's my thought on Adam Foote. I think he just needs to go after the season. I don't care about the coach turnover top conversation where there's been a bunch of it. I feel like it's just the right decision to part ways with him. Manny Malhotra is the last one. He's the NHL head coach. He's our Martin St. Louis. I'm not saying he's going to become what Martin St. Louis has become in Montreal, but he's the guy to come in, develop, push through the rebuild, and maybe when we're pushing out of the rebuild, he's the coach that stays. He's the coach that, the players are familiar with, work well with, the system works well, the players are working well, everyone's happy, and they push into, out of the rebuild, into the playoffs with good momentum, with a good coach, and with good morale, and with good chemistry with everyone, and hopefully a good system. Manny Malhotra has proved that he has a winning system in Abbotsford. It was his first season he won in Abbotsford. This season, you can't really blame him. You can say the same thing to the Vancouver Canucks, but I just feel like Adam Foote wasn't the right decision, and I feel like it should have gone with Manny immediately. But yeah, that's about it. I kind of covered it all. I covered it all there. I'm sorry the ticker isn't updated. I hadn't had time to do it. But without further ado, that is it for this Canucks Land podcast. I apologize for it being only about 15 minutes. I know I usually like to go longer with these, but shorter video. You don't have to stare at me for that long. Without further ado, I set a goal to try to hit 500 subscribers by the end of this regular season. So if you're a Canucks fan and you enjoy this kind of content, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and let me know down below what do you guys think about all we talked about in this episode. Let me know your thoughts, what you think the Vancouver Canucks should do when it comes to their front office. But yeah, the video on your right, this is the video from Wednesday. The video on your left is the video from Monday. Subscribe is right down under there, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.